Hello guys, today we're going to be working on this GE side-by-side refrigerator. This is a profile model and the model number it's on the display. Welcome to DIY Repair Now. Read all the warnings, and during this video you will see one or more of these icons to help you do this repair safe. Hello guys, today we're going to be working on this GE refrigerator. This is a GE profile model, and the problem that we have is that it's not cooling at all. It's not even, the fan is not on, only the lights are on, but it's not cooling. It's not making any noises or anything. And it's doing this. This is a very obvious indication that is the main computer board. The fact that we are getting this type of digits means that the wiring down there is fine, which I'm going to show you where the wiring is. You have to remove the two screws right there, and that means that the dials here and this board is fine. So we're gonna go ahead and replace the main control board, and we go from there. Now we're gonna begin to do this diagnostic. This is day number 1. As you see, it has a soggy ice bag right there. We're gonna pull it out and we're gonna go ahead and get to the main computer board. Now this video is gonna have original sound and an over voice, so you might hear a little bit of hard breathing. I apologize for that, but I find very good to leave original video and original sound when I was editing. So this is part of the over voice, and this is where I'm checking the wiring on the bottom of the freezer door. Just check the connections there, because sometimes you might have a loose connection there or a broken wire. So once you check that, you saw how I removed the that cover. You only have 2 screws, 2 Phillips screws to remove, and if you check all the wiring around there, you will find like 1 or 2 harnesses. And if everything is good there, and that means that your display board is fine, but your main computer board in the back needs to be replaced. So we're gonna go ahead and put this bottom panel back in place and install the 2 Phillips screws to make sure it doesn't come off. You gotta put the screws and hit in this spot. Now we're gonna go ahead and remove this cover. They all 1/4 screws, so just use your drill bit with a 1/4 bit, or go ahead and use a screwdriver. There is 1/4 size 1/4. Now once you remove the panel, you will be able to see the board, and in this case the board looks good to me, but that doesn't mean it's good. Go ahead and disconnect the refrigerator to avoid electric shock. And like I was telling you before, this is day number 1 while I was doing the diagnostic, and since I checked all the wiring and everything, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the board out while everything is connected. Remember that this is just a diagnostic. I'm not replacing it. I'm not replacing the board yet. I want to make sure is the board. So I'm gonna go ahead and release those 4 tabs that holds the board in place. Later on in day number 2, I will show you how to remove those tabs, how to get those tabs loose to be able to release the main computer board. Now I'm flipping the computer, and I'm looking for burn spots or anything that indicates me that is bad. Everything looks okay. I find a couple of yellow spots on the other side, but to be honest with you, it looks like this board will have nothing wrong with it, but that doesn't mean it's good. This is part of the original sound. And now we're gonna use a 1/4 screwdriver bit with our drill. Remember, like I told you in day 1, this is day number 2. I'm removing everything. Now I wanted to show you that this ground wire is attached with this. So when you remove this, Just keep in mind that you have to put it back in the same area. And day number 2, we are replacing the board. Now we're gonna go ahead and detach the main control board. We're gonna go ahead and disconnect every harness. Always take pictures. Trust me, those pictures will help you later on. Just to remember where everything was, just in case. Now just try to follow the video. Now we're gonna go ahead and start disconnecting each harness. Just do one harness at a time and just wiggle it out. Make sure you don't force anything because you can end up breaking one of the metal tips that are going to the main computer board, and you don't want that to happen. Now the way I do it is I put one side first, then I put the other one, and then I just work it out. Now we're gonna grab our flathead screwdriver or a needle nose. It's because we have to release 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now taps. And the way we do it is we press this with a screwdriver and then pull out. Let me show you. Press and pull out. When you press this piece, it releases. You see? And the other one was already loose. You can also use a needle nose pliers to be able to press, and then with the other hand release it. Now just try to follow the video as best you can, but once you get your hands on the board, you'll be able to see everything that I'm doing more easy than what it looks in the video. Now I always leave this one because it's hard to remove it while it's in place, so I leave this one for last, and then just wiggle it until it comes completely out. Now this board was very pricey, so we found an aftermarket on Amazon. A aftermarket part that way is more affordable for the customer. This is the first time I see a GE aftermarket board, so this is the first time we're going to try one and see how it works. It says there 1-year warranty. So if you want this part, there's going to be a link in the description of this video. And for the aftermarket and also for the OEM. Now once you open the new box, you'll be able to see that the board is very similar. It's only minor things that changes, like colors of the capacitors and things like that, but that will not affect anything. In fact, this video was edited like 4 months after the repair was done, and we didn't have any callbacks or anything like that. The new board will have some instructions, but I gotta say, in this model, if you have the same exact model number that it's on the display, you don't need any of this paperwork because it's just replaced. You don't have to do any modifications, but if you do, just go ahead and if the model number that you have is different, just keep watching the video. Now this you would have to follow these instructions if your serial number ends in this. We're going to double check to see if our serial number ends in any of this lettering and numbers. Otherwise, if your serial number doesn't have this lettering and number, you don't have to worry about none of this. Yeah. Now this is the ground wire. If you keep the old wire, go ahead and just swap out the old wire into the new board, or just use the new one. Just keep in mind that it might be a little different. You might have to attach it to a different screw.
sure it
just
sits
make
in
sure
place.
it snaps in place.
Like so.
Once you got all 4 tabs secure in place, go ahead and start and connect all the harnesses or connection, however you want to call it, one by one. If you got to use the picture that you took earlier, go ahead and use it because some of those connections are very similar. Just keep that in mind.
Now in this case, I'm going to go ahead and use this one because it gets too tight right there.
And that's what I was saying. The new wire is a little shorter, so you just have to put it in another screw, and that won't make any difference because that is the ground wire. Now in this case, you will hear that I mentioned that I should have connected this blue harness before I install the board in place because it's hard to do it while it's in place.
I should have plugged this one before I put the board in, but I forgot. I got it in place already.
Again, I apologize for my hard breathing, but I did want to leave the original audio, especially for paper.
It's good. Now this paperwork says that you gotta make sure the fan motor is fine, because if the freezer fan motor is bad, then it's gonna damage the board. Now I hardly have trouble with that fan, but if you put the new board doesn't come on, go ahead and replace the fan.
Go ahead and plug the refrigerator in and check everything out.
Came on right away.
As you see, we got digits now, and the fan is
Now I
working.
can hear the fan. If that fan doesn't come on, that means it's shorted out. Then you have to replace the fan before the board goes bad.
If you don't get that, that means if the fan is not running, go ahead and replace the fan as well.
At this point, everything looks good. So in other words, I see a lot of people said something about when you replace the board, replace the evaporator fan motor, but I gotta say, I've probably run in that situation once in my life. If you want to go ahead and replace the fan motor as well, it's your choice. However, this one is working. Let me put the board, the cover back on, and we're gonna start by.
Go ahead and make sure you put the wires in correctly.
Our serial number.
And at this point, we're gonna go ahead and check the paperwork.
As you see, our serial number begins with MB. And over here we got TD, VD, ZD, AF, DF, FF2, GF2, HF2, LF2, MF2, RF, 2 SF. So this doesn't apply to us, so we don't have to worry about this. Another thing, this is an aftermarket, but it looks identical. One thing that I suggest, let's put this back. See how I'm gonna grab the ground wire.
And this is what I was telling you. Go ahead and fix all those wires in place. Remember the pictures that you took before you remove everything, and try to put everything like it was. Make sure you don't grab any wiring with the cover panel, because it can
make sure you fix the
shortage.
wiring.
It can create a shortage.
All good.
Once you fix all the wiring, just go ahead and put all the 1/4 screws back in place. Just like so. Remember to grab the ground wire with one of those screws, whichever one is close to it.
The one thing I want you guys to do, we already make sure the fan motor inside is working fine.
In this case, I'm using a 5/16 band.
That fan.
Make sure the fan is working right.
That's the condenser fan motor. And get straight to clean the coils.
Just make sure you clean the coils if you have a piece of rag or a vacuum or something like that. Again, I'm using a 5/16 drill bit just to remove this back panel, compressor panel. And we put in the refrigerator back in place. At this point, we're pretty much done. Just check everything, if everything is working fine. If this video helped you in any way, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.